With the world focused on the ceasefire between Israel and Gaza, tonight, Senator Marco Rubio is poised to take a major role in the peace process as President-elect Trump's nominee for Secretary of State. Today, he faced questions from his colleagues in the Senate at his confirmation hearing, which compared to others was not at all controversial. He would make history as the first Latino and first-generation American to hold the post. Our Alex Presha has more on who he is and what his confirmation to the post would mean for our foreign policy.
Secretary of State nominee Senator Marco Rubio has bipartisan support on Capitol Hill. Some of his colleagues are already saying as much on TV.
I think Marco Rubio is enormously well qualified for the job for which he's been nominated.
I'm going to vote yes for Senator Rubio.
However, we wanted to see just how deep that support runs, so we walked the halls of the Senate ourselves to talk to those that will be responsible for his confirmation.
He's going to be confirmed. He's well thought of. He's respected. He's a hard worker.
I think Marco's going to do an extraordinary job. He's going to get more than 80 votes in confirmation, probably closer to 90.
There is no doubt that he is equipped, ready, and will be a tremendous leader at the State Department.
Democrats expect Rubio to have support amongst their ranks as well.
I think Marco Rubio stands a very, very good chance. I'm leaning towards supporting him.
Have you already made up your mind?
We have a process, but I imagine he's going to get significant bipartisan support.
Was it any surprise to you that, forget the nomination, but that he was on the short list for Secretary of State?
Yeah. Elliot Abrams is a senior fellow for Middle Eastern Studies at the Council on Foreign Relations and has served in 3 different Republican administrations, including the Trump administration.
You never know, I think, in the case of President Trump, who he's going to forgive and who he isn't.
It's true that Rubio and the president-elect have had an up-and-down relationship.
You have this clown, Marco Rubio.
When both were vying for the Republican nomination in 2016, Trump mocked Rubio and called him
Little Marco, Little Marco.
He's always calling me Little Marco. And I'll admit, the guy, he's taller than me. He's like 6'2", which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of someone who's 5'2". And you know what they say about men with small hands? You can't trust them.
Rubio referred to Trump as vulgar and dangerous.
He's a con artist. He consistently is telling people he's going to be out there fighting on their behalf, but he has spent 40 years sticking it to the people he now claims to be fighting for.
But after that election, Rubio's rhetoric changed, and their relationship changed so much so that he was rumored to be a possible running mate this election cycle.
The country was better off when Trump was president. Whether you like everything he says or not, that's the bottom line, and that's how most Americans are going to end up voting, is who are they better off on?
What qualifications is he bringing to this role?
Rubio has been on the Foreign Relations Committee and on the Intelligence Committee. So he's got whatever qualifications you can have as a senator. Like most senators, there is a question of management. Most of them, unless they've been a governor, which he hasn't, have never really managed anything larger than their own office.
As America's leading diplomat, Rubio could define the U.S. relationship with China with a more hawkish approach.
The threat that will define this century is China.
President-elect Trump made headlines with an overture to President Xi by inviting him to his inauguration in January, though it's unlikely that Xi will attend.
Rubio's been an internationalist, and he's been pretty much a hardliner. Hardliner on China.
Explain what that means.
His view has been that the Chinese are hostile to the United States, and we need to be a lot more careful about our trade and economic relationship with them.
In the Senate, Rubio is a staunch critic of Chinese trade abuses and allegations of the use of forced labor. He's known for pushing legislation targeting the country and was sanctioned twice by Beijing in 2020 and is banned from entering China, which would be a first for an acting U.S. Secretary of State.
What do you expect his impact on foreign policy, specifically with our relationship with China?
I think he's going to continue the process of holding them accountable.
If successfully confirmed, the 3-time senator would make history at the State Department by being the first Latino to serve as Secretary of State.
This could be a real change. To have a secretary who can not only talk to you, but who's been all over Latin America and can talk to you in your language, that's new.
Rubio would also inherit a complicated geopolitical landscape, from Russia's war on Ukraine to the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas.
You've got 2 major conflicts that you've got to deal with. One of them is the series of conflicts: Israel, Gaza, Iran, Ukraine, Russia, China. The other is going to be inside the administration. That is the struggle between what I'd call the internationalists and people who are more or less isolationists.
Abrams predicts there will be no shortage of opinions in this new administration and suggests for Rubio to have any influence on the president-elect, he needs constant communication with Trump.
You've got to be there face to face. If you don't, you're Rex Tillerson, the first Trump Secretary of State, you're gone in a year. There is nothing that Rubio's going to do that is more important than maintaining his relationship with President Trump.
Loyalty appears to be a through line throughout this incoming administration. Our thanks to Alex Presha for that.